Topline podcast episode 2. Welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome back. To those of you who tuned into my first episode, thank you very much for not only watching that or listening to that, but then coming back again. Got some really good feedback on that, and I'm excited to jump back in here. And if you're listening to this is in video form too over on YouTube. It's okay to listen to, though. Unless you want to see me on my floor in a shirt and tie, you're just fine listening. With that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into the chart update, starting off with the Billboard 200. Really probably the most interesting chart we have this week to update on, mainly because of this number one spot. 21 Pilots Breach debuts with 200,000 units at number one on the Billboard 200. That's a really stellar showing. I mean, there's no other way to slice it. 200,000 debut is like, that's probably more than Cardi will do this week. You know, so that will tell you something. And it was powered largely by pure sales, 169,000 pure sales. That's going to be, your vinyl, things like that, mainly your physical sales. And to have such a huge physical debut like that, or such a huge pure sales debut, I should say, is a sure sign of a very strong, thriving, core, committed audience, which is exactly what we've kind of learned, or what we've seen 21 Pilots foster over the past several years with their past several cycles. They go on big tours, and, are they posting big radio hits now, like Heathens, or what was their other big song called? I'm for some reason blanking. Their other big song, you guys know what I'm talking about. They may not be hit makers like that, but they've taken the time since then to like really settle into being like, I guess album artists is like the cleanest way to say it. Just artists with really strong, committed fans, and that is probably a better thing to be than a hit chaser. And that's kind of always what they were, even pre-Blurryface era. Like they had a committed fan base, and throughout the Blurryface era, which is really the only time I was super tuned into 21 Pilots. I've listened to what their output since. I enjoyed this album fine. Probably won't revisit it, just like not really my thing. But I was definitely knee deep in that kind of stuff, like in middle school, which is when Blurryface came out for me. And, it's funny, at the time, I was calling that like emo music. Meanwhile, it was like that and like Melanie Martinez and like Marina and the Diamonds. Definitely that Tumblr, that kind of corner of the internet of Tumblr. And that's where 21 Pilots sat. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm curious to know, like, is it the same fans now? I'm unsure. Either way, good for them for not only like maintaining but growing. This is their biggest first week ever, and the biggest for any rock album in 6 years, which is just remarkable. Good for them. Good for 21 Pilots. Moving on, KPop Demon Hunters at number 2, 112,000 units, staying super duper strong. It's been over 100 for a while now, and it really doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. I mean, we may be kind of past the cultural moment, the peak of the cultural moment, but the play here has just been so strong. Came out in the summer, built up hype. Back to school, boom, suddenly all the kids are talking about it. Streaming is just massive. And now I suspect it will also get a bit of like a Halloween sort of boost. Everybody and their daughter is going to be dressed up as HUNTR, which is dope. I love to see it. I love for the kids to have a cultural moment. And again, I think that will help its longevity. I don't see this going anywhere, even if it may be sort of peaking commercially. Also, I think they're adding the skins to Fortnite. Maybe that will give it a nice boost too. Similar story here from Morgan Wallen at number 3 with I'm the Problem, 97,000 K, just in terms of its ridiculous streaming longevity. Dipping below 100K weeks now, but still just ridiculous momentum on this 40+ song album. But still, you got to admit that the people are listening. And number 4, Sabrina Carpenter's Man's Best Friend at 88K in its third week, down 2 spots. It's at number 4, but this is still a good third week. 88K is a strong week, no doubt. Not down too much from last week. I believe it was like in the 120s last week, something around there. Streaming has been relatively stable. I'll talk more about that more specifically once we get into that song chart, but a good showing for Sabrina this week. Again, I think this will stick around for a bit longer at least. Then number 5, we have another debut with Ed Sheeran's Play at 71,000 units. Made a video earlier this week talking about whether or not this album cycle for Ed is kind of ushering him into legacy status, or whatever you want to call that. Is he still a main pop boy? Who knows? I mean, these are still decent numbers, not even that much of a drop from some of his recent showings, at least from Autumn Variations, which wasn't exactly like a full album cycle in the way this one was. That was clearly sort of more of a fan project. And I believe his last full length before, or his last sort of proper cycle before this, I can't even remember what is that album called. I'm not super duper tuned to Ed Sheeran. It's minus, so Subtract, I guess it's called. Subtract also wasn't a huge era. It didn't have like any kind of massive hit singles, but I think it still cracked 100K first week in the US. So this is certainly like not a super strong performance for Ed. Yes, he was focused on non-USA for this era. I'm not saying he's totally like washed. These are still like good numbers. I mean, debuting at number 5 is like that's never like a total flop, but we're talking Ed Sheeran here, you know what I mean? So got to keep it real. Shout out to Ed. Hope he's doing well. Number 6, Swag, Justin Bieber down 2 spots at number 44K, hanging on well. Hey, like I said, when you have 40 plus songs on an album, it's going to stream well. More on that as well, though, when we get into the song chart. Number 7, Alex Warren, You'll Be Alright Kid, 36K. Another big streamer, down 2 spots, but still doing really well. A similar story again with SOS by SZA. Down 2 spots, number 8, 33K. Another big streamer, and this one has been around for really quite a while. I mean, obviously the original version coming out, almost 3 years ago now, I think. Is that right? Yeah, that must be right. And the deluxe having been out now for like 9 months, somewhere around there. I think it came out in January, end of December, January. And I dunked on that album the same way I dunk on the Justin Bieber album and the Morgan Wallen album. It's too long. It's from an artistic standpoint, it's just silly. But from a sales standpoint, which is clearly was the play, it's paid off. It's streaming well. And I think that people, this is one of those things too, where like, at least for me, and I think for a lot of other people, like this album is it came out, the original version and the deluxe actually came out in the winter. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if this keeps streaming well as people are like kind of tuning back into that winter vibe that they were on, that they associate with this album. That often gives songs and albums little boosts. And then again, I mean, I sound like a broken record now. One Thing at a Time, Morgan Wallen, down 2 spots, 33K at number 9. When I say I sound like a broken record, I mean this is a ridiculous streaming album that just keeps streaming. People are tuned in that sense, and it's keeping it here. But I mean, it is pretty ridiculous. I don't even say that necessarily with a negative connotation, but like, just like it's wow to have your last album still consistently in the top 10 when you're knee deep in a new cycle that's performing really, really well. In these online pop spaces, pop conversation spaces, like people aren't big Morgan Wallen fans. Fine with me. I'm certainly not going to try to change your mind on that. But like people are listening. People are seriously tuned in a way that they're not for very many artists, including some of your faves. I hate to break the news. Anyway, number 10, Sombr's I Barely Know Her, sticking out at number 10 with 29K. That's where it was last week too, in its top 10 debut last week. I said then that it should be able to hang on here. Like there's no reason it should drop in streams, and that is true. Undressed, still doing well, but mainly Back to Friends, just absolutely killing it on streaming still. I believe it's at number 3 on US Spotify today. Like it just keeps going, and 12 to 12 continues to make gains there as well. So I'll say the same thing I said last week. Really no reason that this should perform any worse in terms of sales numbers than it does this week. In fact, it could probably go up a spot or two next week. just because we probably will lose both Play and Breach. And I think the only album we really have to look out for on this chart is going to be Cardi's. In terms of debuts, I don't think there's any other big debuts this week, unless I'm forgetting something. I don't really see the Lola Young album breaking the top 10 in the US, right? I don't think so. We'll see. I imagine there was some good physical on that, but still. Moving on to the Billboard Hot 100, not the most interesting chart this weekend. I kind of cruised through it a little bit, but HUNTR's Golden stays at number 1, Alex Warren's Ordinary stays at number 2, and Sabrina Carpenter's Manchild stays at number 3. Real consistency there with all 3 of those tracks. And similarly at number 4, Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae's What I Want, which has been a real consistent streaming and radio hit for them. It's up 3 spots this week, though, so not seeming to slow down anytime soon. I like this track. Don't know that it really has like the cultural impact of some of these other like long time top hits. I mean, also though, like it probably does in the areas where people are streaming it heavy. I'm not like hearing this in Target, but again, I'm sure they're playing this in some Targets in the US. Number 5 and number 6, we got Soda Pop and Your Idol from K-Pop Demon Hunters sticking out here in the top 10. Again, just streaming juggernauts. Ravyn Lenae's Love Me Not up 2 spots to number 7 this week. Love to see this one continue to do well. She deserves it. And I'm so glad the song has become a really real certified smash hit for her. Then at number 8, we got Justin Bieber's Daisies up 2 spots. This one has very clearly emerged as the favorite from Swag. I mean, that could have been said a while ago, but it just hangs on and continues to make gains. So good for Justin, up 2 spots. Then, oh my god, Teddy Swims back in the top 10 with Lose Control. Can't believe it. Last week he dipped to number 11 with this one, and I said like the evil has been defeated. Which, by the way, I no hate to Teddy Swims or even the song, but it's just ridiculous that it's still here. Like, I just can't believe it. The longevity on this one's crazy, and it's back in the top 10 at number 9 this week. There's been so much talk about how the longevity of this song and of songs like it. Specifically, I think about Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. I always kind of associate with this song because I believe they were sort of first smashing at similar times. But this one has hung on like nothing I've seen before. It's actually really remarkable. Again, good for Teddy Swims, but I'm ready for it to seriously go to bed, and I hope that it will happen sooner than later. Next up, we have HUNTR's How It's Done, down 2 spots at number 10. That's your Hot 100. Not the most interesting one, whatever. And it's kind of a similar story for the 200 here, the Global 200, which I will also cruise through. Golden at number 1, Ordinary at number 2. Sound familiar? Soda Pop at number 3. Your Idol at number 4. Back to Friends, Sombr at number 5. Interestingly, not in the top 10 in the US right now, which is odd. I guess it's not getting radio because it's streaming really well in the US. I haven't checked its radio recently, but like it's kind of built for radio, you would imagine. Anyways, then moving on to number 6, How It's Done, HUNTR's. Dude, the K-Pop Demon Hunters are undefeated. Then, actually, weirdly, I couldn't find what number 7 was. I should say, so if you don't know how the Billboard charts operate, they release the top 10s for the Hot 100, the Global 200, and the Album 200 on like Sunday and Monday. And then they release the full chart later in the week. And I like to film these when they release those top 10 lists in article form. Because, I mean, the top 10 is really kind of what counts. There's more discussion to be had, of course, about deeper chart. But, like, just, hey, top line. The top line is the top 10. And usually in the article, they say everything. I couldn't find number 7 and number 10 in this article. Maybe I'm just kind of dumb and missed it. Let me know. So I don't know for sure what's at number 7. I think it might be Tears, maybe Manchild, maybe Die With a Smile. Those are my guesses for number 7. I'm pretty sure that it's one of the songs. And same for number 10. If I had to guess, I would say, I don't know. I don't know if either Tears or Manchild are here, and then probably Die With a Smile is here. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but like it's not like you're gonna like there's no revelations being had here with any of those songs being in the top 10. So moving right along then, number 8, we have What It Sounds Like, HUNTR. Number 9, this is the real story of the Global 200 this week. Man, I Need cracking the top 10 on this chart. Olivia Dean. This has become a real certified smash for her. Like, there's really no other way to put it, and really glad to see it cracking the top 10. Hopefully it breaks into the US top 10 as well soon. It's possible. We'll see. It sits at number 10 today on US Spotify, and at number 7 on global Spotify. Like, this is a smash hit. When it first came out, I remember I made a video about it being like, hey, the song's doing well. Maybe this could be Olivia Dean's moment. And it's hung on, and not only hung on, it's grown. Good for Olivia. Love the song. It sounds like a smash. Yeah, and then like I said, number 10 is unknown. That's your chart update. Next week, watch out for Cardi. That's, I think, really going to be kind of the main new thing that I'm watching for. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I'll be keeping an eye on Where's My Husband too. Ray track, which was streaming, it broke the global top 50 on its first day, although it's not there now. But like that's one to watch, I would say. I don't know if it has like the hook power to become a real hit, but could be. It won't. I mean, it won't be in the top 10 next week. Let's be real here. That's your chart update. I'm back. You guys didn't even know I was gone. Okay, first topic here, and I kind of hate to even talk about this. I wasn't going to. I've had it on my list of I have like a little list of video topics that I keep running, and I've had it there in like the lower section where I keep sort of like if I need other ideas, because it just, I don't want to, use what is a tragic and terrible situation. That needs to be like leading here, is that a 15-year-old girl was killed by somebody and is found in the trunk of a car and has been missing since she was 13. Like, this is a terrible story. And I like definitely need to highlight that first. I don't want to make this moment about him and about his story. I should say, like, not, I don't know if he did it. I don't know anything. Time will tell. All alleged. But it's been disgusting to watch this story unfold in these past few days. It's just been surreal and weird. But the reason I'm talking about it mainly is because there's been a lot of discourse online these past few days about the streaming boost that David has seen following this incident. Romantic Homicide, which is like his big breakout moment, sits at number 8 on US Spotify today. Also, Here With Me, his other big track, sits at number 39 on US Spotify today. They've been sticking around here for a few days now, also charting on global. And it's terrible. Like, first, again, let me lead with that. Like, I hate to see this. This is, in theory, will, like, if he's not spending life in jail, could provide some kind of financial benefit to him for these songs to be streaming well. Once again, they were already big smashes. Oh, also Feel It by David at number 38 here. I'm just seeing. Like, I don't want to give the impression that I'm like psyched about these songs streaming well again. I don't think that's cool. But I think a lot of the discourse I've seen about this has been kind of bad faith, and it's been implying that, oh, what a world we live in where somebody can allegedly do something like this, or be at the very least tied to something like this, and be kind of reaping some benefit from it. On paper, totally agree, but I think it paints the audience or the people who are streaming the song as like as if they're like psyched about this situation, or that they're like somehow like endorsing it by streaming this, and it's kind of their show of support. That's the spirit of a lot of the discourse. Like, how can a man be celebrated for doing something like this, or for being involved in something like this? I think that's pretty close to verbatim several hit tweets, hit Reddit threads that I've seen in the past few days. And I don't think that that's what's happening here at all. I think pretty clearly people are tuned in because they're like, what's going on? This guy who is in the news for being related to a homicide has a $1 billion streams on a song called Romantic Homicide. What's this? Let me check this out. Who is this David guy anyway? I think that is a huge part of, in fact, almost entirely like what's going on here. This has become a major national news story. Like, my parents definitely know about this story, and they don't know who David is before. I don't know if they've gone and sought out his music. I don't want to, insinuate that they have, but like, you could imagine that somebody's hearing like, this pop star went and did this, or again, I need to be careful here, was involved in this terrible thing. Oh my God, he has a song called Romantic Homicide. What is this all about? It's not that crazy to me to imagine that, and I don't think that it's even like an evil thing to do. Yes, okay, on paper, it would be more ideal if people were really intentional about their streaming dollars, but the act of streaming a song is so removed from payment for people. Like, that is not an equation that people are doing in their head when they stream a song. I know that in some of your chronically online minds, that's what you hope. It's not the case. I personally will say I have not streamed any of his music since this incident, not even because of some kind of moral grandstanding, rather just because I don't think it's very good. I didn't listen to it before it happened either. I really just have no interest. Do love his track with Holly Humberstone, Super Blood Moon. That's a really fun one. I've also seen some stuff. Caliucci said that she's going to remove her track that features David. We'll see if others follow. It's a terrible situation, but I really don't think that the streaming momentum these tracks have seen is because people are like Team David. I think the reaction to this has been pretty unanimously disgust and terror. And I don't see these songs becoming like, I hope not becoming like big long-term streaming hits. I would venture to guess that in a week or so, these won't be on these charts. Maybe I'll be wrong. And again, it's still too bad that he will reap some kind of benefit from that. 100%. That is not a good thing. Not a thing that I co-sign. Wanted to touch on that. R.I.P. Seriously, I hope that the family gets some justice. Or at least the victim gets some justice, because it's a terrible situation. Next thing I wanted to do here is just talk about some tracks that I've talked about before, but have their status has changed since. It's one of these things where I make videos when something starts to pick up real steam, and then often the story continues. But it's like, if I just made a video about this a few weeks ago, I'm not going to make another one, probably. Maybe if something really happens. But there's a couple tracks here that situations have changed. Man I Need, I talked about. It's just continued to grow. It's just massive. It is a smash hit now. It's a smash hit. And good for Olivia Dean. It's in the top 10 of both US and global Spotify. Like I said, broke the Billboard 200 global chart. I talked about that one right when it came out. I've already said all of this. But there's a couple of other tracks in similar positions. Sugar on My Tongue by Tyler, the Creator. Another one that I talked about pretty soon after that album came out, when it was sort of initially emerging as a favorite. But that situation has only continued. It sits at number 15 on US Spotify today. It's become a real hit for him in a way that he doesn't always get. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a big streamer, but like, and he's had like, on the last record, Like Him did well with Lola Young, Sticky did well, but this seems to be a kind of a unique case for him. It's just charting really high, and it's getting good radio too. I saw that. He's getting good radio on it, which you love to see, because that's kind of the whole point of Don't Tap the Glass, was to be an album that people throw on. It's if any of his albums are going to give him sort of a mainstream pop hit, this would be the one to do it. So good for him. Wanted to kind of make note of that. And then the other kind of story as of late is Rihanna's Breaking Dishes. It's the latest throwback revival hit. It's sitting at number 47 today on US Spotify, number 40 on global Spotify. And there's not much to say here. Like, this happens very, very frequently now, where we have these kind of throwback hits coming back to get big streaming moments. But the reason I wanted to address it is just to kind of make note of it. But also, there's a lot of negative impact about, there's a lot of chatter about the negative impacts of short form content age and these apps on the music industry. And certainly I agree with a lot of the criticisms of kind of what they've done, but there are also some serious, I think, cool elements of it. And one of them is that songs can smash. Songs from days gone by can come back and smash. I think that's really cool. And it's such a, it's such a mainstay of, commercial music now. Just looking here at the, Spotify US Top 50, Breaking Dishes at number 47, Fleetwood Mac's Dreams at number 40, Arctic Monkeys 505 at number 36, Coldplay Sparks at number 33, The Neighborhood Sweater Weather at number 30, Radiohead's Creep at number 28, The Goo Goo Dolls' Iris at number 25, Earth, Wind & Fire September. It's because it was the 21st of September yesterday. That one probably won't stick around, but still. We have these throwback hits that are smashing, several of them, that are smashing in real ways. And I mean, I don't need to be the one to tell you this. There's been so many cases of this over the past few years, but this is cool. This is a feature, not a bug of the current moment in music. I think, go back 10 years, you can definitely picture people complaining about, not complaining, but just kind of saying, oh, it's too bad that songs only kind of get their release moment and then it's kind of hard for them to become hits after that. The same is true in a different way now. But also now kind of songs can become smashes ever. I mean, even in a smaller way, like I'm looking at Sienna here, the Maria's Sienna, which has kind of become a decent streaming hit for them. I mean, this album is a year and a half old now, and this song's just now having its moment. So even kind of on the smaller level, like that is a cool thing that is made possible very directly through this kind of short form content moment. Just wanted to call that out because there's so much negativity about the way that's changed music, again, much of which I agree with. But this is a cool thing that people talk about, but like low-key, maybe not enough. The fact that a fifth or more of the US Top 50 is songs that were released a decade or more ago is cool, right? Like that's cool. All the old heads saying they don't make it like they used to, they don't need to, okay? Because the kids are finding this stuff. The kids are all right. I'm fully kidding, by the way, when I say that. I'd co-sign current music any old day. Last but not least, I wanted to touch on some stuff I've been listening to this week that I don't really have a reason to make a video about, at least as of now. Mainly, I wanted to shout out Julia Michaels, one of the most prolific pop songwriters of the last decade or so. I mean, she's co-written so many smashes and continues to. She's had really remarkable longevity as a songwriter, and she's doing her thing solo too. Obviously, earlier in her solo career, she had some moments with Issues, a couple of other tracks doing well. But not so much getting big hits these days, which is the case for when your main gig is like co-writes. It's hard to maintain like a super strong artist project. But she has a new one out called No Heartbreaks Killed Me Yet, and I love it. I've been streaming it. It's probably like my most streamed like new song this week. Sounds like a hit to me. I mean, do I think it will become a hit? No, but it's a great track. Sounds like it could be a Sabrina song. I don't know if it was like, it probably wasn't like written with that intention, but she's written some of Sabrina's hits, and this sounds like I could hear Sabrina singing this. It's a great song. Highly recommend checking it out. Also from her EP this year, Second Self, Heaven 2. So good. Of course she's a good pop writer, so of course her solo stuff would be pretty good. It's hit or miss, to be honest. But wanted to shout out the song because I think it's a stellar pop song that's going somewhat unnoticed. And then I also want to talk about Kenny Titus. Do you guys know Kenny Titus? She's sort of a folk country pop indie twang, you might say, artist who's been making some waves over the past few years now, mainly with 2 EPs. Mod on My Superstars and Juliet, both of which who have caught some serious momentum for her. She toured with Biba Doobie, and I kind of hate to make this comparison because it's the easiest one to make, but it's it's easiest one to make for a reason. It would be kind of ridiculous not to. There's a very Lana Del Rey sort of vibe here. That's probably the person I can most closely compare her to. But don't get me wrong, like she's definitely kind of doing her own thing too, but very much in touch with themes of Americana, a little folk singer-songwriter indie vibe. This new one she has out, Man Like You, it's her first new track in almost a year. And I'm really into it. I'm hoping that it's leading to potentially a debut album from her. Because again, she has been making some real waves and has grown in serious ways in the past few years. I imagine this is going to be the start of an album. Maybe it's a droplet. Maybe we'll get an album next year. I have no idea. But cool. Again, sort of an indie twang vibe here. Is it groundbreaking? No, but like there are so many people doing the sound, and the cream rises to the top. I think she's one of the best doing it. Some cool co-writers here too. Some people who worked on the Morgan Wallen album, and you can definitely hear that. I would say she's kind of like Morgan Wallen meets Taylor Swift meets Phoebe Bridgers, I guess, meets Lana Del Rey. If that sounds up your alley, definitely check Kenny Titus out. Just wanted to shout her out. Hopefully I can make like a main series video about her once some more of y'all start paying attention. That's what I've been listening to, in addition to the Ray track. Silas Carpenter, he's a small singer-songwriter who's just doing such cool stuff. Check out Silas Carpenter, yo, seriously. Two Charm Boyfriend, been listening to the new Frost Children album. Skull Crusher Dragon, love that track. That's sort of like the new stuff I've been listening to, or not necessarily new, but the stuff I've been listening to this week. Most of it is pretty new. And that's the episode. That's what I have for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on any of what I discussed today. What are your predictions for Cardi? That's going to be the big story next week. I'm thinking like 150, something like that. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.